This is Sissy with stampinwithsissy.net. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and wanted to share my passion with you. Today I'll be showing you how I made this adorable Halloween gate card that was inspired by Susan Lavasser on YouTube. Let's get started. We'll be needing some Whisper White paper. The dimensions are 4 1/4 by 10 1/2, scored at 5 1/2, so it's a top opening card. And then another little scrap for our sentiment. We need some basic black, about 5 by 4 3/4. Perfect plum, 5 by 4 1/4. And just a scrap of foil sheet that's about as big as this square. I've already punched mine out so I could save some time, but that's about how much you'll be needing. We'll be needing the Spooky Cat stamp set, this little guy right here, for the inside sentiment. Let me open this for you. We also need the Graveyard Detailed Gate Thinlets. This is the most beautiful Thinlet that I have used. I absolutely love this Thinlet, and it's very versatile. Also, for the inside, touches of texture. If you wanted to use any you can change this up to use anything you want to on the inside, but that's just what I used. We'll be using the Perfect Plum Stampin' ink pad, the Pumpkin Pie, the Daffodil Delight, black ink, and Versamark ink. I've also used a 1-inch punch to cut out the mask for the moon here, and I'll show you how that works when we get started. Also, Post-it notes, both this kind and this is a Post-it note that has sticky on the whole pad, and I really like those when I'm using masks. So let's get started with our card. I don't want the ink to get on the back side of the card, so I'm going to tear off some of this Post-it note. It also kind of helps me stick it down to the pad so it doesn't move around so much. Okay, we're going to get our Daffodil Delight and our Stampin' Up! Sponges. I already have one that I have cut up into triangles, so we'll be using that. Ink it up. And just start off the page in a circular motion, covering about half of your surface here because the gate will take up the other half. So 1-inch mask right about here for the moon. With the pumpkin pie, I'm going to do just the same thing I did with the other, and keep going until you have the intensity that you like. Big reveal. Now I want to swipe a little bit of pumpkin pie. I think it makes the moon look a little bit eerie. Just ever so slightly. Okay, now we're going to stamp our sentiment, Open If You Dare, with the Perfect Plum. I'm going to use my Misty. This is a wonderful little tool that has been such a lifesaver for me. I got it on the internet by My Sweet Petunia. It allows me to re-stamp an image in exactly the same place if it doesn't turn out as dark or as well as I want it to, and I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to take I've got my paper in here. I'm going to take my sentiment and place it where I want it. Close the lid. The stamp sticks on. Then I'll take my ink pad. Stamp on here. Close it. Lift up. And I don't know if you can tell, but it's not really as dark as I want it to be. So I'm going to stamp it again until I'm satisfied with the image. Ah, much better. I'm going to take my baby wipe and, oh, also, I forgot, we need to stamp our little bat. You can also use clear blocks. That works very well too. This is just been so much easier for me. I find I get less frustrated. Super cute. Now we want to stamp the inside of our card. So I'll lift up this Post-it paper. With my pumpkin pie, I'm just going to use acrylic block for this part because it doesn't really matter how this stamps on there. You can't go wrong with this. But I do want my cat to be very bold and black. So I'm going to fold this in half. And this is another Misty that I have, made by the same company. I have a big one and a small one because I'm always switching back and forth. When you're using the thin stamps, the polymer stamps, you need to have a ink pad on here. It's a little bit thicker and just helps it to make a better image. So I have two of them because I'm too lazy to keep taking the pad in and out and in and out. I do a lot of stamping and I want my life to be easy. I'm going to wipe away some of this black from the sides. Okay, now we're ready to do our die cutting. I am using the magnetic platform along with the precision base plate, and it really is a strong magnet. And that's what they recommend to use when you are doing these delicate dies. I'm going to start by cutting our sentiment, and I'm going to use some washi tape to hold it where it belongs so that it cuts just right. Try not to get it on the stamped image. Sometimes it pulls a little of the color off. And I always go through twice. 3 or 4 times. I've struggled a little bit with this gaped Thinlet. It's so delicate that in the middle sometimes it doesn't cut it all out. And even after going over and over again, I haven't been able to get it cut out. So I learned a trick from my friend Lori Bateman. And what I do is I put a second layer of paper underneath using the same sandwich, and then run it through there 2 or 3 times. And don't mind the cracking and the crunching and the sounds like it's breaking. That's perfectly normal. All right, let's see how we did. Looks like it worked. Perfect. Okay, again, these are very thin, very delicate, so you're going to want to be very careful when you're pulling it out that you don't tear it, because that can happen too. I'm going to move this out of the way for a minute while I show you this cool tool. Sometimes it can be frustrating to weed all the little pieces out of these beautiful, delicate dies. So we have this brush and pad by Sizzix that you can just go like this. And I put it in one of these little cases just to try to catch all the little pieces because there are a lot of little pieces. Now all I have to do is take this to the garbage can, toss it all in, easy cleanup. For the purple, or for the perfect plum, we want to measure where this gate is going to be. The gate is larger than it needs to be. So we're going to use this framelit to cut out the shape. And I want to tape it where it belongs, right, to keep it in its place. Bring my Sizzix back in. So now we're ready to do the embossing on the gate. I think this makes it look so cool. I'm not sure if you can tell it on the video, but I have embossed this gate with just the clear embossing powder, and I think it just makes it look so cool. I'm going to use my Stampin' Up! Gel pad so I don't get the Versamark all over everywhere. And I'm only going to do half of the gate at a time. That way I have something to hold on to when I'm using the heating gun. All right, now we're ready for the clear embossing powder. Turn on my heat gun. You can overheat it, so be careful. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and lay this in a different place. Emboss the other half. Okay, now we're ready to put it all together. We're going to start by gluing our gate to our gate shadow. And I like this multi-liquid glue. You can tell how dirty it is, that I use it all the time. And on the gate, it's nice because you really don't have to put glue all over the whole thing. You can just put it on the major pieces. Put it close in on here because we're going to cut off part of the sides. It's a little bit too big for the card, so there's a reason they made it that way, so that you can fold those ends over on your card, cut it down the middle, and open the gate. And I will show you how I did that on a future video. Don't worry about the glue that shows. This glue dries clear, so it's not a big deal. And I'm going to put something on top of it. I think I'll use my magnetic pad because that weighs a lot. Get my little silver scallop square, my sentiment. Now I used the die that comes in this seasonal tags. It's got a bat, spider web, snowflakes, Christmas tree, snowman, pumpkins, and a reindeer that you can make tags of. It's a wonderful set because you can use it for all kinds of seasons. But if you wanted to, you can just use the same bat that we used to put on the sentiment, and it'll be darling as well. We can put this together, again with our glue, our liquid glue. You could use any kind of adhesive for this, whatever you're comfortable with. Just love the way these just layer so beautifully. And then we're going to put our key next to our bat. Let that dry for a minute. We put our gate down. I'm going to use this same glue. Again, I'm going to put some weight on it until it dries a little bit. I forgot to put the little lock on the gate before I glued it together. I've only done it right one time in all the cards that I've made, darn it. So I put a little slit in the lock so it looks like it's actually locked on, and because I didn't do it before, it's going to be a little more tricky now. I'll take my piercing tool and lift the gate up a little bit. Now you could glue this down or put a dimension on it or something if you want to. I kind of like the way it just hangs there, but it is possible that it might slide off, so it's up to you what you want to do. And now we're going to cut off the excess of the gate. Just turn your card over, and with your scissors you can just trim off the leftovers. Isn't that cute? Now we just need to put our sentiment on. There. Add our bats, and again you can just stamp them if you don't have the Thinlet. And there you have it. Isn't that adorable? I'm just getting started in this business, and it would really help me if you like what you see. Please hit the subscribe link below so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.